I was the one who was very afraid of, get out of my comfort zone and like start something. But I don't know, just trust your gut. I feel like because I was an employee before, and then I quit my job and raised my kid, and then suddenly it's just something in me that's telling me that you need to do this. Right. It's something inside you that tells you. So I would say like, just start, just doing something. If you just keep thinking, nothing will happen.
Hello and welcome to episode 22 of the Exponential show. Today we have Kru Palm from Little Palm's art studio. Thank you, Kru Palm, for taking the time to speak with us, especially on a Saturday, which I imagine is one of the busiest days in the week for you. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate you taking the time.
You're welcome.
So before we start, Kru Palm, I need to do a bit of a disclosure to our audience. So I'm not here only in my capacity as somebody who does marketing for small businesses, but I'm also here in my capacity as a father, because this happens to be my daughter Misha's favorite activity out of everything we've tried so far. So half the questions are coming from a dad and the other half are coming from a marketer. So please bear in mind. Okay. So with that, Kru Palm, let's get started. This is a question that we ask all our guests, is what got you to start Little Palm's art studio, and what were the motivations and events that led you to starting your own
Okay, so at the very first, I love art to begin with, but when I become a mom, I quit my job and become a mom. I devoted myself to raise my kid. Like, I don't have any nanny, so I'm full-time mom back then. And then I get to do lots of crafting, art, gardening, cooking with her. And I love to see the process of her when, like, the joy of, like, during the process of each activities. That's why I wanted to open some space that spark kids' creativities, and like they have the freedom to express themselves without worrying too much about the product. Because most of the space that I've taken my daughter to, it's more like a focus, a product base. Like they focus on the outcome.
I see.
More than the process. So I wanted to enhance the process. The magic comes within, like, during the play, during the process of, like, we doing the activities together. So that's why I create the space.
Makes sense. And how long ago was this?
I decided to open this just like 3 months ago.
Oh, so still very early days.
Yeah, very, very early. But I know that I love art since I graduated from Faculty of Architecture. Wow. So I have like the architect base. I love doing stuff, building stuff since I was very young. But then, like, once I have kids, when you're a full-time mom, you have to find some activity to do with your kids. Otherwise, they're going to be like blah. So that's why I trying to find all sort of activities to do with her. And then when I share on my story or my social network, some parents DM me or like asking me about like, that looks good, how do you do that and stuff. So, and some of the mom told me that if you should do like a group class or something. So I think I kind of like have a sense that it's lack of like the creative space for the kids that focus less on the product, that focus more on the process. That's why I want the child to be the center, like the I love the approach of Reggio Emilia. If you don't know her, she's like developed like the education approach that focus on like the child base. So we wanted to go on that side, that we want to focus on process and like the child itself, because every child is very like unique.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Now that you mention it and I look back at classes I've taken, Misha too, I see where getting a perfect art piece by the end of the class, even if it comes at the expense of the teacher doing half the work for the student.
Yes.
Now that you mention it out loud, I can relate to what you're saying in terms of a lot of classes being focusing too much on the final outcome, as opposed to letting the child enjoy and absorb the learning and creative process. So appreciate that perspective.
Thank you.
Now, as a parent and now as an educator, you mentioned that you love art, but what role do you feel that art plays, especially in early education, in the mental, emotional growth of a toddler, if I may call them that? So, can you tell us about what the process has led to for you as a parent and for you as an educator?
Okay, like for me, I feel like art help the child in the early stage for many aspects. Like it helps with the fine motor skills, which is like the essential skills for the child to write, to open something, to grab something, and also like a problem solving, and also resilience as well. Because when you do art, sometimes you make mistakes, and you have to find the way to it kind of sparks your curiosity that if I do that, if I fix that, how do I fix it? And also art takes time. Some of the art, because it has some details, it has layers. So it also builds like children resilience as well. And by combining all of them, I think it almost like develop emotional intelligence to the kids. And I feel like it's a very good way to express themselves without using words, because sometimes younger kids cannot think of the word. So art is the best way to like express their feelings. So I think it developed in so many aspects, and it helps a lot.
I see. It makes a lot of sense, and as somebody who is not very creative in the traditional sense, I see why it would be very beneficial for a toddler to go through that. And like you mentioned, getting the ability to express themselves without the use of a large vocabulary. So that's something that resonates a lot with me.
And also for the older kids, I want them. As you can see my shelf on the back, I have lots of stuff because I want them to have the courage to use some other materials that they have not familiar with, to spark their curiosity, and then have some enhance their creativities.
Understood.
Yeah, in some sense. So they can grab some material that they've never used before, and they said like, oh, I can build a sculpture with this and that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I just want them to get their hands on, to get their like experiment, play with the material first.
It makes a lot of sense, and it sort of in an indirect way helps them with their problem solving skills as well, right? Where they're seeing a new tool or raw material they can use to create what they've envisioned. So it's fascinating to learn about that approach. Now, our generation grew up as perhaps the first computer native generation, but we currently are raising the first mobile native generation.
Since they were born.
True. So from that perspective, what pros and cons of technology do you see with your kid as well, but also in general with the students that you teach? So how do you feel technology has helped in the learning process, and how do you feel it is impairing the learning process?
I feel like technology is a great way to, especially in this era, it's a big role, and I feel like it helps with the kids to. I mean, all the kids need an exposure to the technology these days. But then it also help you open some windows to see some creativity out there around the world, and also like you can see some inspiration, knowledge, even like online courses and stuff. But for a very young age, I would say if you expose your kid with the technology too much, it can limit their sensory sensory expression or something, because they don't have like a reaction interaction both way. It's just like one way, and then it might delay their development. And while I want to balance the technology wise and like the analog wise, because we focus on hands-on. That's why we want to balance. We get some inspiration from out there, from internet, but then in a way we want them to feel the real stuff, building the real stuff. And then and then they can like balance the analog with the technology, so they can have like, especially for the young age, I don't want them to be exposed too much to technology, but we want to spark some creativity, so prepare them for like the AI world in the future time. So I would say we balance it out here.
Understood. And it's a great explanation, right? So technology as a source of information is fantastic, but when it actually comes to learning, just consuming content doesn't really help unless you actually practice the skill or art form that you're trying to develop. So it makes a lot of sense.
We try to have it two ways communication, not just one way, and then your kids doesn't get like any interaction, and we want, that's why some of our younger class, we want parents or caregiver to come into, so they can have like some bonding time.
Makes sense.
Because parent and child time is such a precious time, like even for now when my kids is starting to grow up, I like miss the time when she was a baby too so much, that like we spend time together a lot, and like I'm not regretting it. But for those who that give the child like all technology, I feel like they're going to miss out something.
100%. I could not agree more. Especially seeing how fast they grow and how fast they go through phases. It's
I know.
One day they're a baby and the next day they're like off to school.
I know.
So I appreciate that perspective. So now you mentioned the parent and child bonding, and as a parent, especially here in Bangkok and in most metropolitan cities these days, we have the luxury of choosing so many different activities and extracurriculars and all sorts of things for students. So sometimes that luxury becomes a problem because there are way too many options to choose from. So do you have any maybe top 2 or 3 things that a parent should look for when they are choosing the right activity for their kids?
I would say since we have like tons of enrichment activities out there, so I would like parents to choose like the focus on the process much more than the outcome, because out there mostly they're focusing on the outcome, like to have your baby like intelligence, genius, and like, but you don't focus on like the process during then, because it takes time to build something to get a result. It's the same thing for the child as well. So every grabbing, every smile, every giggling, every like paint stain, it's a process. So I want the parents to look inside the process much more than just the outcome. And I would say that.
Interesting. Thanks for that. And you're right. It's just the approach, like you said. I think that's a fantastic way of putting it. Is just focusing more on the process than the product. Is I could not say it better myself. So I like that phrase, and I'm going to steal it from you.
but actually, it's quite hard, even for like Asian parents that we grew up very like traditional way. Our parents expect us to deliver like beautiful work, straight A and stuff. But
that is
in the AI world for the future, that's what I'm worried, because you need to have some unique skills that will beat the AI. So you need some creativity. You need other skill rather than like being straight A or like
because you're right. It's when it comes to AI, and I've had this conversation with previous guests as well. Being unique and having, and Dave, if you're listening to it, I'm stealing your line, having an original voice. So having some sort of
Yes.
originality or creativity or personality, it really shines through.
That's right.
Now, so I'm done with my questions as a parent.
Okay.
Now, getting to your experience of running a business, right? So the first one is related to my area of interest, which is marketing.
Okay.
So you mentioned you started this just 3 months ago, so it's still very early days.
Yeah.
So we found you through social media.
Yes.
But can you tell me a bit more about your experience with marketing and how you got the first few students and parents to find you and find your space?
Okay, so since the beginning, as I told you before, that I've been doing activities with my kids since she was like a 1 year old.
Right.
So I have some group of mommy that like their kids, it's about the same age as mine.
I see.
So we share stuff all the time, and then sometimes I post it on my story or my page and stuff. They would ask me, and it becomes like an organic storytelling of how I taught my kid, how I raised my kids. So because they see my activities, so sometimes I go to their house and I prepare some activities, and we set up some group and stuff, so they know how I raised my kid. And then that's part of my very first client. But then afterward that I opened Little Palms, I need some publication out there. So I did, the very first marketing I did was like simple ad. I did some like promotion to have like the trial class for them to come to me and like see the experience. And the most important thing, I want them to feel the process that
Makes sense.
Yeah, that I always like say about the process, because most of Thai parents, they, as I told you, they don't understand how important of the process. They mostly focus on the product.
Right.
So that's why I want them to see and experience the real space before they even buy the course. I just want to offer them to, like have some opportunity to see the space first, and like, yeah, that's the marketing that I do. Just like the organic mouth to mouth, and then some promotion, a little bit of promotion about the trial class on like Facebook ad and stuff. I'm not very good at marketing.
You found us, perfect target audience, so you're doing something right.
Yeah.
But two very good takeaways, right? So one is just small businesses underestimate the power of word of mouth. So you obviously have experienced this firsthand, how powerful it can be, especially if you provide a good experience to your first few customers. And just authentic storytelling on social media.
Yes.
You mentioned your mommy group. They could see the experiences that you were doing with your kid, and then how it snowballed into a business now.
Yeah.
So speaking of business, you and I both know that running a small business doesn't come without its share of challenges, right? So can you tell me about the most frequently faced challenges you've had in your first 3-4 months, and what they've taught you so far?
Okay, so the first challenge I face is that I have to tell the parent and explain in details to parents about how important of process is, because mostly when they get the product from their kids in the class, and it's become like a little bit messy, the colors out of the line, and it's not like what they expected. They're surprised. They were like, what did my kids do? I sent my kids, I paid the money, and then what did I get? It looked like a trash or something. Even like some Asian parents say that. So the first challenge is that it's about only that, because they stick with the product so much.
I see.
So that's why I have to educate that they're just only 5 years old, 4 years old, they're learning. It takes step by step. We're preparing them not to have like the perfect artwork, but preparing their thinking, their thought of how to do this and how to do that. Should I put this? Should I put that? Kind of like building their thoughts of like doing arts, not just copy and paste. That's the only challenge, I would say.
I see. So it's like you're not just educating the kid, but also their parents.
Of course. That's a very big part.
I see. Yeah, I would never have thought of that. But you're right. It's and you're like it's a very cultural thing, especially in our part of the world where there's expectations and comparisons, even with very, very young kids.
Yeah.
So I see where you're coming from and why that would be a challenge. But I believe there's a bit of a shift now with newer, if I may call them that, newer generation parents where they're more open-minded about the learning journey. But you're right, it's a cultural thing and it will take some time to
well, we have some very open-minded client as well, that they truly understand, but some, like I would say 60% of the parents here, they still don't quite understand about like the process of over product. So sometimes when the kids make something that doesn't look as they expected, they already judge the product already. They're like, I want to change their mindset a little bit, so I have to explain and like. It takes time. It's a lot of hard work to try to explain to maybe like granny for like the older generation as well, because they are the one who's sending the niece, the nephews off. So I have to explain to them as well.
That's a very unique challenge where you're dealing with 4-year-olds and 40 years old at the same time.
Yes.
It's fascinating. Now, you're in obviously the creative space, but more broadly, you're now in the education industry. So, again, I'm asking this question both as a parent and an educator. What other gaps do you see in the early learning space here in Thailand, where you find that despite the presence of so many types of classes and activities, there's still, if there's any gaps that you see in the market even today?
I feel like the educational space that is enhance the creativity of the kids, it's not so much. I feel like there's still some gap that we can build more in this area, because as I told you that AI is taking over. So I graduated as an architect. So I've been doing lots of design thinking and stuff since 10 years ago. So I feel like that part is still very important, to have some creativities, to build the children to have their uniqueness, to make them outstanding, to make them be original in some way. That is still, I feel like they're still lacking in Thailand, especially in Thailand. And I would say that the real creative space, not just I think the real creative space that have some freedom for the kids to do, to play, to think, to choose, it's still lacking for Thai, in Thai.
I see.
Yeah, in Thailand.
Interesting. In that case, I'm glad you started this. I see what you mean, and hopefully with people like you leading the charge, the landscape will change. Maybe not immediately, but over a period of time.
We're just a small, teeny tiny speckle, but then in the big picture, I would say that Thai student needs more of this,
Understood.
Less than because later on we're going to be doing all the things in front of technology all the time. So I think Thai kids still need some space for them to explore, to express, in some way. Maybe it doesn't have to be art. It can be any other form. Yeah, but the creative space for them.
I see. And like I said, I hope that things change on that. because there's so much potential that the kids have, especially when they're young, and there's so many new things that they can learn and absorb. So just not allowing them to be free sort of limits their potential in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So I fully understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Now, Kru Palm, to our last question for today is what's next? I know it's still just, you mentioned just 3 months, but what's the next milestone that you're working towards as a business owner, as an educator, that you're looking for? Okay, this is the next target that you have in mind.
So for the next milestone, I would say I would love to build our community, to have some more parents and kids coming. Maybe later I can open it as an open studio. I want the child and the parents to bond, to have some time together. And also, as I mentioned, that I want to build a community, but in a way for our class, I want it to be still intimate and very child-centric focus on each child, to bring out the best of each child and see their uniqueness. I just want to focus on that, and also want to have some more channel online as well. Maybe some online courses for those who do the homeschool.
I see.
Yeah, because I found that there's more numbers of homeschooler. So I would maybe in the future I could have some courses for them as well.
Sounds interesting. Forgive my ignorance, but what is an open studio, if you mind?
For the open studio, maybe just 1 day or maybe 2 days a month that I can open the studio freely, and then the fee would be very less, and then let the child and the kids come and they can grab almost like a buffet, that you can get the food, but instead of the food you can get all the bits and bobs and create something. I will give maybe a base as a canvas or cardboard or anything, and you can build it with your parents. And I might set up some installation for them and for parents or caregiver to come and express what they want to express, build something, or maybe something like that.
Sounds like a fun exercise.
But that's for the future though. I want to settle with we have the new teacher coming as well to be my teaching assistants, and so I have to set up all our system first, and then that will come later.
Nice.
In the future.
We look forward to that, and just keep us posted on any new developments on that front as well.
Yes.
Now, before we end it, do you have any message for two categories of listeners? One is new parents who are figuring out the development of their children, and the second category would be small business owners, new business owners. So any message that you have for people listening? Okay,
so for your viewer, I would say I was the one who was very afraid of, get out of my comfort zone and start something, but I don't know, just trust your gut. I feel because I was an employee before, and then I quit my job and raised my kid, and then suddenly it's just something in me that's telling me that you need to do this. It's something inside you that tells you. So I would say just start, just doing something. If you just keep thinking, nothing will happen. So you just start doing it. Even it's a teeny tiny step, but it's better than nothing. So I would say just do it. And for the new coming parents or the new parents out there, I would like to say that it's such a special time and precious time that you would spend with your kids. So I would say that you should take most advantage of this time, because you cannot turn back time, and it's the best time. When I see all my kids that is your daughter's age, my heart is so full. Like I miss my daughter at that age so much, and they're very magic. They're so special. So yeah, I would say that spend time with them a lot, hug them a lot, express your emotion, your feelings with your child, and you won't regret it. Even like when they're even like 7 years old, you guys will be much more apart because friends is coming, taking your place.
Right.
So I would say, cherish that moment a lot.
That's a fantastic message to end our conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm listening, and my wife Vidushi behind the camera is listening, and hopefully a lot more parents are listening as well. So thank you, Kru Palm, again for taking the time. It was a fun conversation. I learned a lot about your approach and what you're doing. So congratulations on how far you've come.
Thank you so much. It's just a small beginning, but I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad that I get out of my comfort zone and just do it.
No, I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of Vidushi as well. We are glad you did it as well.
Yeah.
So thanks for that, and we'll hopefully have a lot more conversations off camera.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for everybody who tuned in. If you like the episode, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.